The space station was always busy. Ships came and went every hour. Aliens of all shapes and sizes walked through the long metal hallways. They traded goods. They shared news. They lived their lives among the stars. Ho had lived on Station Omega 7 for 2 years now. His parents worked here. His father Sung helped different species understand human culture. His mother studied old alien languages that nobody spoke anymore. It was interesting work, but sometimes Ho felt bored. He was 12 years old and he had already seen most of the station. But there was one place he had never visited, the containment level. That changed on a Tuesday morning when his mother asked him to come with her. She needed to check some old writings in the wildlife sector, and his father was busy with meetings. Ho was excited. He had heard stories about the creatures kept down there. Strange animals from distant worlds, dangerous beasts that could not live among the station population. They took the elevator down 17 levels. The doors opened and Ho immediately noticed the smell. It was not bad, just different, like metal and old water mixed together. The hallway was darker here, fewer lights, fewer people. His mother walked ahead, reading something on her tablet. Ho followed, but his eyes moved everywhere. He saw enclosures on both sides. Behind thick glass walls, creatures moved and breathed. Some were small and covered in fur. Others were large with too many legs. One had no body at all, just floating light that changed colors. Ho wanted to stop and look at each one, but his mother kept walking. She had work to do. They passed through 3 security doors before reaching the back section. Here, the hallway was empty. No other visitors, no workers, just silence and dim lights. Ho felt something strange in his chest, not fear exactly, more like the feeling before a storm. And then he saw it. At the very end of the hallway there was one final enclosure. It was bigger than all the others combined. The glass was thicker too, with metal bars behind it. Warning signs covered every surface. Ho could not read most of them because they were in alien languages, but the pictures were clear. Danger, stay away, do not approach. Behind the glass, something moved in the shadows. Ho stopped walking. His mother did not notice. She turned into a side room to do her work, but Ho could not move, he could not look away. The creature came forward slowly. First, Ho saw claws. Each one was longer than his arm. Then legs covered in dark scales that looked like old armor. Then a body so large it blocked out the light behind it. And finally, a head. It was a dragon. Ho had seen pictures of dragons in old Earth stories. His grandmother used to tell him tales about them. But this was real. This was alive. This was right in front of him. The dragon was beautiful and terrible at the same time. Its scales were black and purple, but many of them were cracked or missing. Scars covered its face and neck. One of its eyes was cloudy and blind. Its wings were folded against its back, and Ho could see holes in the thin skin between the bones. This dragon had suffered. This dragon had been hurt many times. The creature looked at Ho through the glass. Its one good eye was golden, deep like an ocean. It did not growl. It did not attack the glass. It just looked at him with an expression that Ho understood immediately. Sadness, deep, endless sadness. A voice came from behind him. Ho jumped and turned around. A tall alien stood there. He had blue skin and 4 arms. His uniform showed he was important. Commander, according to the name on his chest. "You should not be here, little human," the commander said. His voice was not angry, just tired. "This area is restricted." "What is that?" Ho asked. He pointed at the dragon. Commander made a sound like a sigh. "That is a mistake, a burden, something that should not exist." "But what is it?" "We do not know, not really." The commander walked closer to the glass. The dragon did not react to him at all. It kept looking at Ho. "We found it 40 years ago in a broken ship floating through dead space. No crew, no records, just this creature, alone in the dark." "Does it have a name?" "Names are for things that matter." The commander's voice was cold now. "This thing is cursed. Every species that tried to keep it suffered terrible luck. Accidents, deaths, disasters. It has been transferred 47 times. No planet will take it. No species will claim it. Now it waits here until it finally dies." Ho felt his hands become fists at his sides. "That is not fair." "Fair," Commander laughed, but there was no humor in it. "The galaxy is not fair, little human. This creature brings death wherever it goes. The kindest thing would be to end its suffering, but no one wants to be the one to do it, so it stays here. The unwanted, the cursed one, alone." A merchant walked past them at that moment. He was short with skin and small eyes. When he saw the dragon, he made a disgusted face. Then he spat at the glass and walked away without looking back. Ho felt anger rise in his chest. Why did he do that? "Because he is afraid," the commander said. "They are all afraid. This creature represents everything they do not understand, and what they do not understand they hate." Ho looked back at the dragon. It had not moved. The spit was sliding down the glass in front of its face, but the creature showed no reaction, like it was used to this, like this happened every day. Then Ho noticed something. Around the dragon's neck, half hidden by old scales, there was something shiny, a piece of metal on a chain, a necklace. "What is that around its neck?" Ho asked. Commander barely looked. "Some old decoration. There are markings on it, but nobody can read them. Dead language, worthless scribbles." "Has anyone tried to translate them?" "Why would they?" The commander started walking away. "Come, little human, your mother will be looking for you. This place is no place for children." Ho followed, but he kept looking back at the dragon, and the dragon kept looking at him, right until the security door closed between them. That night Ho could not sleep. He lay in his small bed in his family's quarters and stared at the ceiling. His sister was asleep in the next room. His parents were talking quietly in the kitchen. Everything was normal. But Ho's mind was not normal. It was full of golden eyes and sad faces and old metal necklaces. He kept thinking about the dragon, about how everyone called it cursed, about how everyone was afraid, about how no one had ever tried to understand it. They just passed it from place to place, waiting for it to die. And that necklace, those markings. His mother studied old languages. She knew things that nobody else knew. Maybe those markings were not worthless. Maybe they meant something important. Maybe everyone had been wrong about the dragon from the beginning. Ho made a decision. Tomorrow he would go back. He would learn more about the creature that everyone had given up on. He would look at that necklace closer. Because someone had put that necklace on the dragon long ago. Someone had cared enough to give it something beautiful, and Ho wanted to know who. He wanted to know why. He wanted to know the truth. Outside his window, the stars burned cold and bright. Somewhere out there, a story was waiting to be discovered, and Ho was going to find it. 3 days passed before Ho found his chance to go back. His mother was busy with her research. His father was handling a trade dispute between two alien species. His sister was studying for her exams. Nobody was watching him. He took his mother's portable translation device from her work bag. It was small enough to fit in his pocket. She used it to scan old writings and find out what they meant. If those markings on the dragon's necklace were really a language, this device would tell him. The elevator ride down to the containment level felt longer than before. Ho's heart was beating fast. He was not supposed to be here alone. If Commander found him, there would be trouble. But he could not stop thinking about the dragon. He had to know more. The hallway was empty when he arrived. Good. He walked quickly past the other enclosures. The creatures inside made sounds at him, but he did not stop. He had one goal. The dragon was exactly where he had left it, sitting in the shadows at the back of its enclosure, not moving, not making any sound, just waiting. Ho walked up to the glass. "Hello," he said softly. "Do you remember me?" The dragon did not respond. Its golden eye was open, but it seemed to look at nothing, like it had stopped caring about the world outside its cage. Ho felt sad seeing this, but he had work to do. He took out the translation device and pointed it at the necklace. The dragon was far from the glass, so he had to adjust the settings. Zoom in, focus, scan. The device made a soft beeping sound. Then words appeared on the small screen. Language DTCTD, Pierrot SOLARIN. Ho stared at the screen. He did not understand. Proto? He had never heard of that language before. He pressed more buttons, asking the device for information. The answer made his breath stop. Proto was an old human language. Very old. It was used by the first humans who left Earth on colony ships more than 3,000 years ago. Most of those ships were lost in space. The people on them were never seen again. Over time, the language was forgotten. But somehow, this alien dragon was wearing a necklace with human words on it. Ho's mind was racing. How was this possible? The dragon was found in a broken ship in dead space. Everyone thought it was an alien creature from an unknown world, but this necklace connected it to humans, to people from Earth, to his people. He needed to know what the words said. He needed to translate them. But the device could only identify the language. It could not read it. Proto was too old, too rare. The full translation records were locked in his mother's research files. Ho had to ask for help, but how could he explain why he needed to know about a dead human language? His mother would ask questions. She would want to know what he was doing. He decided to be clever. That night at dinner, he asked his mother about her work. "What is the oldest human language you have studied?" he asked, trying to sound casual. Looked up from her food. She had tired eyes, but she always smiled when her children asked about her work. "That is a good question. There are many old languages, Latin, Sanskrit, ancient Korean, but the oldest ones I have studied are the colony languages." Colony languages? Yes, when humans first left Earth, they created new languages, mixed languages. They combined words from different cultures to make something new. Took a sip of water. Most of those languages are lost now. The colony ships never came back. "What about Proto?" Ho asked. His mother's eyebrows went up. "Where did you hear that name?" Ho shrugged, trying to look innocent. "I read it somewhere, in a history file." Nodded slowly. "Proto is very rare. We only have a few samples. It was used on the mission. The biggest colony fleet ever sent from Earth, 12 ships, 40,000 people. They left in the year 2847. None of them ever reached their destination." "What happened to them?" "Nobody knows." His voice became soft. "They disappeared into deep space. Some people think they found a new home and forgot about Earth. Others think they all died. It is one of the great mysteries of human history." That night, Ho asked his mother to teach him some Proto. He told her it was for a school project. She was happy to help. For 3 nights they sat together and studied the old language. Ho learned the basic symbols. He learned how the words connected together. He practiced writing and reading. On the 4th day, he went back to the containment level. This time when he scanned the necklace, he could understand some of the words. Not all of them. The markings were damaged. Age had worn away parts of the metal, but he could read enough. The first word said, "To whoever finds my friend." Ho felt his heart jump. My friend. Someone had called this dragon a friend. He kept reading, "Please." The next part was damaged. He could not see the words clearly, but there was more writing on the back of the pendant. He needed to see the other side. But the dragon was too far away, and the necklace was around its neck. There was no way to see the back without getting closer. Ho pressed his hand against the glass. "I am trying to help you," he said to the dragon. "I know someone cared about you. I know you had a friend. Please, let me see the necklace." For a long moment, nothing happened. The dragon sat in the darkness like a statue. Ho started to feel foolish. Why was he talking to a creature that could not understand him? Then the dragon moved. Slowly, very slowly, the massive creature stood up. Its joints made cracking sounds. Its muscles moved under scales. It had not moved like this in a very long time. Ho stepped back from the glass. Fear touched his heart. The dragon was so big, so powerful. Even behind thick glass and metal bars, it was terrifying. But the dragon did not attack. It did not roar or show its teeth. It walked forward step by step until it reached the glass. Then it lowered its great head until the necklace was right in front of Ho. Their eyes met, golden and brown, ancient and young, dragon and human. Ho felt something then, not through his ears but through his mind, a feeling that was not his own, loneliness, thousands of years of loneliness, lost so deep it had no bottom, and somewhere beneath all that pain a tiny spark of hope. This creature had waited so long, so very long for someone to see it, to really see it. Ho did not look away. "I see you," he whispered. "I see you." The dragon made a sound, low and deep, not a growl, more like a sigh, the sound of someone finally being heard after years of silence. Ho raised his device and scanned the back of the necklace. New words appeared. He would translate them tonight. He would learn the full message. But already he knew one thing for certain. This dragon was not cursed. It was not a monster. It was not a burden to be thrown away. This dragon had been loved once, by a human, 3,000 years ago. And Ho was going to find out what happened. He was going to learn the truth, no matter what it took. Behind the glass, the dragon closed its eye. For the first time in decades, it did not look sad. It looked peaceful, like it finally had a reason to hope again. The boy with the kind eyes had come back. The boy who spoke the old words. The boy who was not afraid. Maybe this time would be different. Maybe this time someone would understand. Ho visited the dragon every day for the next 2 weeks. He brought his translation notes. He brought food from his family's kitchen. He even brought a blanket once when he noticed how cold the containment level was at night. The dragon responded to him like no other visitor. When Ho came, the creature would stand and walk to the glass. When Ho spoke, the dragon would tilt its head and listen. When Ho left, the dragon would watch him until he disappeared through the security door. The station workers noticed. They whispered about the strange human boy who spent his free time with the cursed beast. Some thought he was foolish. Others thought he was brave. Most just thought he was strange. His sister found out after the first week. She followed him one evening and found him sitting against the glass wall, reading his notes out loud while the dragon listened. "What are you doing?" she demanded. Her voice was sharp with worry. "Do you know how dangerous that thing is?" "His name is not Thing," Ho said calmly. "And he is not dangerous, not to me." "How do you know?" "Because I listen to him, and he listens to me." Looked at the dragon through the glass. The creature looked back at her with its one golden eye. She shivered and stepped away. "This is crazy. I am telling mother and father." "Wait," Ho stood up and faced his sister. "Just wait, please. Let me show you something first." He handed her his notes, days of careful translation work, pieces of a message written 3,000 years ago. Read slowly. Her expression changed as she went through the pages. The anger left her face. Confusion replaced it. Then something softer, something like understanding. "A human wrote this?" she asked quietly. "Yes, someone from the lost colony fleet. Someone who loved this dragon." "But how? How could a human from so long ago have a dragon?" Ho shook his head. "I do not know yet, but I am going to find out." Was silent for a long moment. She looked at the dragon again. This time she did not look away. The creature blinked slowly and for just a second saw what her brother saw, not a monster, not a curse, just a very old, very tired being who had lost everyone it ever loved. "Fine," she said finally. "I will not tell them, but you have to be careful, and you have to include me. I want to help." From that day on, Ho had a partner, helped him study the proto-language. She was older and smarter with languages. Together, they made faster progress than Ho could have made alone. Their mother noticed they were spending more time studying. She was pleased. She thought they were preparing for academic tests. She did not ask too many questions. After another week, they finally completed the full translation. Every word, every symbol, the complete message on the necklace front and back. Ho held the paper in his shaking hands, sat beside him. They were in their small room late at night with the door closed. "Read it," whispered. Ho cleared his throat, then he began. "To whoever finds my friend, please take care of him. His name is, it means star in my grandmother's language. I gave him that name when I was young, when he first came to me." Ho paused, his eyes were wet. He continued. "Saved my life when no one else would. Our ship was attacked. Our people were dying. I was just a child, alone and afraid, but found me. He protected me. He carried me through the darkness when I could not walk." Put her hand on her brother's shoulder. "We traveled together for many years after that, just the two of us in the empty ship. He taught me how to survive. He shared his warmth when I was cold. He stayed with me when everyone else was gone." Ho's voice was breaking now, but he kept reading. "He is gentle, he is loyal, he only wants to be loved. I know others will fear him because of how he looks. I know they will see a monster, but they are wrong. Has the kindest heart I have ever known." A tear fell onto the paper. "I am dying now. The sickness has taken too much, but should not die alone. He should not suffer because of me. Please, whoever reads this, please take care of my friend. He is all I have to give this universe. He is my star." The message ended with a name. The human who wrote it had signed their words. So Young, survivor of the three, year unknown. For a long time, neither Ho nor could speak. They sat in the quiet room and thought about So Young, a child who survived when everyone else died, a child who found friendship with a dragon, a child who spent their last moments writing a message of love. 3,000 years, had been waiting 3,000 years, alone, afraid, hoping that someone would find the message, hoping that someone would understand. And finally someone had. The next morning, Ho went straight to the containment level. He did not wait for a good time. He did not worry about being seen. He walked past the guards and the warning signs and all the creatures in their cages. Was waiting at the glass, as if he knew something important was happening. Ho pressed his hand against the cold surface. "I know your name now," he said. "Star, So Young gave you that name. So Young loved you very much." The dragon made that low sound again, that deep rumbling that was almost like crying. "I translated everything. I know what happened. I know how long you have been waiting." Ho's voice was firm now, strong. "You are not cursed. You are not a monster. You are a friend who lost their person, and you have been grieving ever since." Pressed his massive head against the glass, right where Ho's hand was. The barriers between them felt so thin in that moment, so meaningless. "I am going to help you," Ho said. "I am going to tell everyone the truth. You will not be alone anymore, I promise." The dragon looked at him with that ancient golden eye, and Ho felt the emotion again, that wave of feeling that passed between them without words. Gratitude, hope, trust. And something else, something Ho did not expect. Love. Not the love between a pet and owner. Something deeper. Something between equals who had shared pain and found each other across impossible distance. Ho smiled through his tears. "So Young chose a good name for you. You really are like a star. You kept shining even when everything around you was dark." Suddenly an alarm started blaring. Red lights flashed. Voices shouted in the distance. Ho turned and saw Commander running toward him. Behind the commander were security guards and station officials. Their faces were angry and worried. "Step away from the enclosure," shouted. "The council has made their decision. The creature is to be destroyed today." Ho's blood went cold. What? No, you cannot do that. The Galactic Council has voted. The creature is too dangerous to keep alive. The termination order has been signed. His voice was not cruel, but it was final. Step away, boy. This does not concern you. But Ho did not step away. He turned and faced the guards with his back against the glass. Behind him, rumbled with confusion and fear. This concerns all of us, Ho said. This dragon is not dangerous. He is not cursed. He was a human's friend, a human from Earth, and I can prove it. The guards hesitated. Commander frowned. I have the translation, Ho continued. The necklace is written in an old human language. It is a message from a lost colonist who loved this dragon. His name is. He has been waiting 3,000 years for someone to understand. Shook his head slowly. Even if that is true, it changes nothing. The council has decided. Then the council is wrong. Ho stood his ground. A 12-year-old human boy against the entire galaxy. Behind him, a dragon who had waited for this moment. Neither of them would give up without a fight. The news spread across Station Omega 7 like fire. A human boy was blocking the termination of the cursed dragon. He claimed the creature belonged to humanity. He claimed he had proof. Ho's parents arrived within minutes. His father Sung pushed through the crowd of aliens and officials. His mother was right behind him. Their faces showed fear and confusion. Ho, what are you doing? Sung called out. Come away from there. I cannot, father. Ho's voice was calm but firm. They want to kill, I will not let them. Stepped forward, she looked at the dragon, then at her son. You named it. No, a human named him, 3,000 years ago. Ho held up his translation papers. Look at this, please, just read it before they do anything. Commander tried to stop them. This is a council matter. Human opinions do not change galactic law. But Sung took the papers from his son. He was a diplomat. He knew how to read situations. He knew when something important was happening. He read the translation quickly, his eyes moving faster and faster. When he finished, he looked at the dragon with new eyes. This is real? He asked Ho. Yes, father. I used mother's translation device. Help me verify the language. It is Proto, from the Lost Colony Fleet. Took the papers next. She read them slower, checking each word against her knowledge. Her hands started shaking before she finished. So young, she whispered. A survivor from 3. What does that mean? Commander demanded. So what if some ancient human wrote a note? The creature is still dangerous. Turned to face the commander. Her eyes were burning now. Do you know what the mission means to humanity? 40,000 of our people disappeared. We never knew what happened to them. For 3,000 years we have mourned them, searched for them, hoped. She pointed at, this dragon is the first real connection we have found, the first proof that anyone survived, and you want to destroy it. The crowd of aliens shifted uncomfortably. They had never seen humans talk about this. They had never understood why the lost colony ships mattered so much. Sung stepped forward. He addressed Commander directly. Under Section 7 of the Galactic Heritage Act, any species can claim an artifact or entity that has direct historical connection to their people. This dragon was bonded to a human survivor. The necklace proves it. Humanity has a claim here. His face darkened. That law was made for ancient relics, not for living creatures. The law does not say that. Sung's diplomatic training showed now. He was calm, professional, unstoppable. I am invoking our right to a formal review. The termination must wait until the council hears our case. The crowd murmured. Some aliens looked angry, others looked interested. A few even looked sympathetic. But shook his head. The council has already voted. 13 species agreed to terminate. Only 3 abstained. The decision is final. Then call for a new vote. Present the new evidence. Why should I? Ho stepped forward before anyone else could speak. He looked at with steady eyes. Because maybe you have been wrong about him this whole time. Maybe the accidents were not his fault. Maybe bad things happened because he was suffering, because everyone treated him like a curse instead of asking what was wrong. The commander stared at the boy. Behind the glass, watched with his golden eye. He is not a weapon, Ho continued. He is not a threat. He is a friend who lost his person. He has been in mourning for 3,000 years, and nobody ever tried to help him. Nobody ever tried to understand. Would you not act strangely, too, if everyone you loved was dead and the whole universe hated you? Silence filled the hallway. Even the other creatures in their enclosures seemed to be listening. Commander was quiet for a long moment. Then he let out a breath. I will call for a review, but I make no promises. The council does not like changing its mind. 3 days later, the council met again. Representatives from 50 species gathered in the Great Hall. Humans rarely attended these meetings. They were still considered newcomers to the galactic community. But today, the human delegation sat in the front row. Sung presented the case. He showed the translation. He explained the history of the mission. He told them about So Young, the child who survived alone with a dragon. Spoke about the language. She confirmed the translation was accurate. She explained how Proto worked and why it could only be human in origin. But it was Ho who made the biggest impact. The council allowed him to speak. A 12-year-old boy standing before the most powerful beings in the galaxy. His voice did not shake. You have called many names, he said. The unwanted, the cursed one, the burden. You have passed him from place to place for 40 years. You have spat at him, you have hated him, and you never once asked him what he was feeling. He looked around at the alien faces. Some were angry, some were curious, some would not meet his eyes. Humans are new to your galaxy. We do not know all your rules and customs, but we know one thing very well. We know how it feels to be alone. We know how it feels to lose everyone you love. We know how it feels to be hated for things that are not your fault. Ho's voice grew stronger. Is not cursed. He is grieving. His person died 3,000 years ago and he has been carrying that pain ever since. The accidents were not his fault. They happened because he was suffering and nobody cared enough to help. He held up the necklace translation. So Young knew who really was. They called him gentle, loyal, kind. They trusted him with their life, and their last wish was for someone to take care of him, to love him like they did. Ho faced the council directly. I am asking you to honor that wish, not for me, not even for humanity, for So Young. For a child who died alone in space, hoping that someday someone would find their friend. The vote happened 1 hour later. 27 species voted for termination, 21 voted against, 2 abstained. Termination 1 would die. Ho felt his heart break. He had tried so hard, he had done everything right, but it was not enough. The galaxy was too afraid, too stubborn, too unwilling to change. His mother held him as he cried. His father stood with his fists clenched at his sides, even had tears on her face. They were going to kill. The star that had waited so long was going to be destroyed. Unless... Ho lifted his head. A new idea was forming in his mind. The council did not care, but maybe others would. Maybe there were humans out there who would understand, who would fight for something that had no one else to fight for it. He asked his father for access to the station's communication system. Sung hesitated, but only for a moment. He could see the determination in his son's eyes. That night Ho recorded a message. He told the story of And So Young. He showed the translation. He explained what the council had decided. And then he sent it to every human ship, station, and colony within communication range. This dragon was loved by one of us, he said at the end of the message. 3,000 years ago, a human child gave their heart to this creature. Their last wish was for someone to take care of him. Are we going to let strangers kill our family's friend? Are we going to let So Young down? The message went out into the dark of space. Ho did not know if anyone would answer. He did not know if it would make any difference. But he had to try. He had promised so young. He would not give up until there was no hope left. The first ship arrived 6 hours later. It was a small transport vessel from a mining colony 3 systems away. The captain was an old woman named. She had white hair and rough hands from decades of hard work. When she landed at Station Omega 7, she walked straight to the containment level. "I saw the message," she told Ho. "My great-grandmother was supposed to be on the mission. She got sick at the last minute and could not go. She spent her whole life wondering what happened to those ships, to those people." She looked at through the glass. This dragon knew one of them, lived with one of them. That makes him family. More ships came. By morning there were 10, by afternoon 50. By the next day over 200 human vessels surrounded Station Omega 7. Not warships, just ordinary people, families, workers, scientists, teachers, old people and young people and everyone in between. They came because they heard the story. They came because they remembered the mission. They came because a 12-year-old boy asked them to help. Commander did not know what to do. The council had never seen anything like this. Humans had never gathered in such numbers before, not for politics, not for trade, not for war. For a dragon. The alien species watched with confusion and curiosity. Why would so many humans travel so far for one creature? What did this beast mean to them? Sung tried to explain at an emergency council meeting. "You do not understand human culture. We carry our dead with us. We remember them. We honor them. The people on those colony ships were not just numbers to us. They were fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, friends and neighbors. We never stopped hopping. We would find them." He pointed toward the viewing window where human ships floated peacefully in the dark. "Those people out there did not come to fight. They came to mourn, to finally say goodbye to the 40,000 souls we lost, and to welcome home the one friend who survived." The next day, humans began arriving at the station itself, not to cause trouble, not to demand things, just to see with their own eyes, to pay their respects. They brought offerings, not fancy gifts or valuable treasures, simple things, flowers from earth gardens, candles that smelled like home, handwritten letters addressed to So Young and the other colonists, old songs that their grandparents had sung. They held a ceremony outside the containment level, a memorial for the mission. For 3,000 years, humans had mourned without bodies to bury, without graves to visit, without any proof of what happened. Now they had something, someone who had been there, someone who remembered. Ho watched from the front of the crowd. Watched too, through the thick glass, his golden eye reflecting the candlelight. An old man stepped forward. He was the oldest human on the station, nearly 100 years old. His voice was weak but clear. "When I was a boy, my grandmother told me about her sister. Her name was Park Bai. She was 22 years old when she boarded 5. She wanted to see new worlds. She wanted to build a better future." He wiped his eyes. "I never met her. I only know her from old photographs, but I have carried her name my whole life. I have wondered every day what happened to her, if she suffered, if she was alone at the end." He looked at, "This dragon cannot tell me, but he was there. He knew someone like my grandmother's sister. He loved them, and they loved him. That is enough. That is more than we ever hoped for." Other humans came forward with their own stories, their own lost relatives, their own unanswered questions. Each one lit a candle. Each one said a name. Each one let go of grief they had carried for generations. The alien species watched in silence. Some of them had never seen humans cry before. They had thought humans were tough, cold, practical. They did not know that humans could feel this deeply, could love this strongly, could mourn this long. Commander found Ho after the ceremony. The tall blue alien looked different now, less proud, less certain. "I have lived 400 years, said quietly. "I have seen many species, many cultures, but I have never seen anything like this." Ho did not respond, he just waited. "I spoke to the council. They are reconsidering," paused. "Your people have changed many minds today, not through threats or demands, through love, through grief. We did not know humans could feel this way about a creature they never met." "He was loved by one of us," Ho said simply. "That makes him ours." The new vote happened the following morning. This time, the result was different. 41 species voted to spare, 9 voted against. The termination order was cancelled. But that was not all. The human delegation put forward a proposal. Under the Lost Heritage Act, humanity formally claimed, not as property, not as an animal, as a citizen, the last survivor of the mission, a being with rights and protections. Earth's government agreed within hours, was granted protected status. He would never be caged again. He would never be passed from place to place. He would never be called cursed or unwanted. He was home. The day they opened the enclosure was the day Ho could remember. Thousands of humans crowded the containment level. Cameras recorded everything. Children sat on their parents' shoulders to see. Ho walked to the door of the enclosure. His family stood behind him. So did the old man and hundreds of others who had come from distant places. The locks clicked open. The heavy door swung wide. Stood in the opening. For a moment he did not move. He had lived in cages for so long. He had forgotten what freedom felt like. Ho held out his hand. "Come on, it is time to go." The dragon took one step, then another. Then he was outside the enclosure for the first time in decades. Humans surrounded him, but none of them were afraid. Children reached up to touch his scales. Elders bowed their heads in respect. Made a sound, not the sad rumbling of before. Something new, something deeper. A low, vibrating hum that seemed to come from his very soul. Gasped, "I know that sound. I read about it in old records. It is the sound his kind makes when they are finally home." Ho wrapped his arms around his massive neck. The dragon lowered his head and closed his eye. The boy and the star together at last. Later that week, they took to the observation deck, the highest point on the station with the best view of space. Ho sat on the dragon's back as they looked out at the stars. In his hands, Ho held the ancient necklace, So Young's last gift, the message that had waited 3,000 years to be read. "I will take care of him," Ho whispered to the stars. "I promise, So Young, I will take care of your friend." Turned his head toward a distant sun. Earth's sun, small and faint but still visible. The home he had never seen but somehow knew. And for the first time in 3,000 years spread his wings. Not to fly, not yet, just to remember what it felt like, to have hope, to have a future. The humans below cheered. The aliens watched with wonder. And somewhere, across the infinite dark of space, Ho liked to think that So Young was smiling. Some bonds cannot be broken by time. Some loves cannot be destroyed by distance. Some stars keep shining even in the darkest night. Was proof of that. And so was the small human boy who refused to let him be forgotten. They stayed on the observation deck until the station turned and new stars came into view. A dragon and a boy. An ancient soul and a young heart. Two beings who had found each other across 3,000 years of loneliness. Neither of them would ever be alone again.